Welcome back to our video series of AD 1926. This is part 19, Kansas. In part 18, we took you along this road, Clark Street, into Galena. Just love the feel of this gravel road going along the railroad tracks. And so we'll skip ahead to the north end of Galena. So we're going to pass the railroad tracks. So we're coming up on the site of the old Banks Hotel. It was demolished in 1933, but it would have existed in 1926. It's here on the left where Cars on the Route is today. Across the street is what most people call the Front Street Garage, but it wasn't called that in 1926. Continuing south down westbound 66, we passed by the Plaza Theater. It was on the second floor of this building. Apparently they had vaudeville and then later theater. We get this street scene and you can really get the feel of 1926 Route 66, such as this gas station, now a restaurant, probably from the 1920s. Also of this era was the Century Hotel. The sign says New Century. Most sources refer to it as the Century. I'm going to have to look further into that. Just west of Galena is Riverton. Here south, looking from Route 66 to the old Riverton grocery. It was also a post office and feed store and lots of things. The proprietor lived upstairs. As you can see, I stayed here during my winter trip through Kansas. I have a separate video where I take you inside the place, some Travel Buddy bonus content. I'll drop that link in the description below. There's not much in Riverton of that era, but there is this store that dates back to 1925, so you do get a flavor of 1926 Route 66. Definitely worth a stop when you're traveling through. All right, let's get back on the road. We've left Riverton and we're still on original 66, and we're going to come to this really cool old bridge, sometimes called the Rainbow Bridge. It originally kept straight and curved and rejoins here north of Baxter Springs. I love these older portions of 66 where the branches of the trees just overhang over the road. I just love the image, I love the feeling, certainly inspiration for the Among the Trees movement. I love this shot of the car and the road among the trees. All right, next up is Baxter Springs. I'm going to take this footage from episode 46 titled Staying in the Old Part of Baxter Springs, because you get to see these old buildings that would have existed in 1926. I think the building that I stayed in was maybe 1900 or so. So I'm really getting inspiration for AD 1926 as well as Vacancy No Vacancy. I've sort of pointed to show where the Airbnb is located. It's next door to the old bank, the place with the yellow door there, and then here is a view looking the opposite way. I should also point out the proximity of the Airbnb to the old Ritz Theater, which dates back to 1926. So we've got inspiration for AD 1926, and the show will go on. By staying in this downtown area, you get a feel for that early 66 traveler with the theater right there and everything. For example, I stayed in this building. It's dated 1926. I think it might be older, but maybe just this facade was from that year. It was the old Little Brick Inn, now closed, and I was one of the last people to stay there. Well, we only have 13 miles of original 66 in Kansas, so we're going to end the video there. For the next videos and previous ones, be sure to subscribe at patreon.com/Route66Suite.